The government, and in specific terms Rachel Reeves, are continually lying to the British people about the economy. Our economy is in deep, deep trouble, and our economy is failing, and people are feeling it. Everyone knows what's going on, and Rachel Reeves just continues this game of stepping up in front of the British people and just gaslighting us. And it's reaching a stage now of an unreality. There's kind of this veneer of unreality about everything that they do. And I'm not sure whether they think that people are buying this rubbish, but, it's plain for all to see that the economy is far different than it was a year ago. And this is obvious to everybody who has eyes to see it.
Today's numbers show that the economy beat expectations in the second quarter of this year. We are the fastest growing economy in the G7 for the first half of this year, with a GDP growth of 0.3% this quarter, and that's after GDP growth of 0.7% the quarter before that. Look, I recognise there's still more to do to make sure that people in all parts of the country benefit from that growth, but since the general election, when I became Chancellor, the economy has grown by 1.2%, and GDP per capita, so for every person in the country, GDP per capita is up by 0.7%. So encouraging numbers today, but of course we need to build on that to make sure people in all parts of the country are better off.
I'm sorry, and I'm going to apologise again, it's early in the morning. Is she taking the piss? Seriously? Is she actually trying to tell us that the economy's going well? Because it bloody well isn't.
And everyone knows that.
Everyone is suffering. People are paying more for everything they need to buy, to feed their families, to go on holiday, to park their cars, to drive around the country. Everything has gone up in price, and the economy is completely down the toilet.
And it's an insult to people's intelligence. They know, looking out there across the country, that things are not as rosy as Rachel Reeves is trying to make out. Talking about, we're the fastest growing economy in the G7. That's a bit of a tallest dwarf competition at the moment, to be perfectly frank. And also, we all recognise that so many of the promises that we were given, that there was going to be this laser-like focus on growth. These growth figures are paltry, we all know that.
Yeah.
And then also, the fact that the message that Downing Street are continually putting out at the moment is, it's not as bad as we thought, in effect. Tells you everything you need to know. It's not exactly things can only get better, is it?
And I think in that, they summed up the mood of the country quite specifically there. She is not telling the truth. And to say that we've grown like 0 point something or whatever it is, I mean, this isn't growth. This isn't anywhere near what the government requires or what they put into their budget with the OBR, together with the OBR, what they forecast everything was going to be. They forecasted a much higher amount of growth, and in fact, Rachel needs that growth. And this is where the 50 billion black hole that they've created since they've came in has come into force, because everything was built around growth. But of course, like all Labour parties, when they get into power, they go into tax and spend mode. And there is a very, very fine balance to be achieved. And this is basic economics. And it comes down once again to the Laffer curve. And the Laffer curve essentially says that the more you tax people, the less you take. And there is a perfect point where you can tax them just enough and people don't mind, and that encourages them to go out and make money and put it back into the economy. But Labour have got it all wrong. They're destroying business. The NICS increase that they brought in last year is having a very, very damaging effect on business. The Employment Rights Bill that they're about to ram through, that's going to virtually prevent businesses from taking on new people, because if you're going to give employment rights to someone on day one, then that's not going to work out very well for small businesses, because small businesses need a period of time with which to filter out the wrong-uns. And every other metric that you're going to look at in the economy, unemployment is up. We've got the lowest amount of jobs available online as per the job sites for well over a decade. The amount of people claiming benefits due to the inaction of the Labour Party is increasing every week, every month, every day even. The personal independence payments, these sickness payments, are skyrocketing. And, the amount of people not working and the amount of young people that can't get into work is staggering. I am very, very worried for the 18-year-old person, because there are no jobs out there. All of these service jobs have gone through the floor. The jobs that were previously done by normal people without any real education, the hands and feet jobs, they're actually being replaced with graduate jobs because there's no jobs for graduates. And of course, the employers have worked out that there's huge amounts of quite intelligent people coming out of university that can't get a job. So a lot of the really low-key jobs are now advertised as graduate jobs now. And so that jobs market there is filtering out the bottom half of the jobs market for people who don't have any official qualifications but who want to work. And the worst thing about all of this, the worst thing, is the lack of any realism coming from Rachel Reeves there. She's talking and literally asking the band to play when the Titanic is going down. This is the very definition of that statement. Now, Rachel Reeves, whatever she's doing, my personal feeling is she knows better than most people what the numbers are. She knows she's already took the wrong decisions. She knows that she can't pull this back. And she's now gaslighting us. That's all it is. They're not telling the truth. But then again, this Labour Party does not tell the truth. Keir Starmer can't walk straight at this stage. And neither can Rachel Reeves after that little performance there. I mean, you cannot come out and tell the British people things that they know are not true. Everybody knows the food prices are going up. Everyone knows our bills have skyrocketed. Energy's going through the roof. There's 1,000 things happening, and all we've got is Rachel Reeves, our Chancellor, standing there and lying to the British public. And I think it's disgusting. And at some point, reality is going to come crashing down, and it's probably going to be within 1 or 2 weeks of the next budget. That would be my guess. Rachel Reeves will not make out the end of this year. But the question after that is, who's going to replace her? Because there's not anybody in the front benches, or it seems in the full Labour Party, that has any understanding of economics at all. Thanks very much for your time.